All right, so we was talking about Raynaud's disease. So what it is a kind of, again, vascular disorder, and in this, what is happening is a vasospastic disorder that is brought by an unusual sensitivity of cold, which we had conversated previously, that many times during winter or due to cold temperature, we are just getting the spasm, we are getting vasoconstriction. Many times due to emotional stress or any kind of autoimmune disorders, it is usually affecting the digits. Okay, so this is the reason why we are during stress, we are getting vasospasm, and due to vasospasm activity, the blood is being somewhere occluded to reach the distal ends. Okay, like peripheries, or lastly the digits or fingers, you can say. So Raynaud's disease is a kind of vasospastic disorder. It's having a very particular meaning. In this case, what is happening during emotional stress? It is again due to the sympathetic nervous system activity has triggered, and it will lead to constriction of vessels. You can see here. So what will happen, that usual blood flow to the fingers is causing them to occlude. So from here it has got occluded, and see this discoloration, it has got pale. That means it has cut off the blood supply. So this is why it is getting pale, because it is getting lack of supply, or it is totally out of supply. Incidence, if we can discuss, is 40% of people who is suffering from Raynaud's is affected with the toes and fingers. Rarely the disorder affect the nose, ears, nipples or lips, and it is mostly related to the fingers who is getting affected. And the common in age group is like 16 to 40 years, it is diseases occurring. So if you are being asked in multiple choice questions, you can see that the age group is 16 to 14. That can be the middle-aged people who are being affected by it. All right, so we are aware that it is a common age group who is suffering with this disorder. You can see here how the discoloration, it can be not only pale, it can be yellowish color, it can be cyanos because lack of oxygenation, and then these digits are turning or discoloring into the other color. Okay. Classification, we can classify in primary Raynaud's and secondary Raynaud's. What it is, primary Raynaud's is something which we do not have the particular known cause, or the cause is not known. It is also said as it is idiopathic. Remember, this terminology can be repeated. Where the causes you are not aware about, it is a primary Raynaud's disorder, and it is termed as idiopathic. In secondary Raynaud's phenomenon, there are causes we are aware about. Let's have a look towards the etiology. Primary Raynaud's. Okay, so we were aware that it might be somewhere, we are not aware. So cold temperature, stress, blood vessel spasm due to anything. You can see in this how the stress is affecting, how the cold, all the body parts are getting spasmodic contractions, and he is getting spasm. So normal blood vessel having a very good diameter, but once it is in spasm, you can see that the lumen has narrowed. Okay, and this is what you can see here. The passage will definitely be occluded. In secondary, due to the scleroderma, lupus, erythematous, Sjogren's syndrome, and disease of arteries. Okay, so carpal tunnel syndrome, these are the disease. So if you want to go with the disorders, what is Sjogren's syndrome? I'll explain you that it is again an immune system disorder, that it is characterized by dry eyes, dry mouth, and it attacks own healthy cells. Like if you are having any kind of healthy cells which is not still affected, but they are attacking on that, and due to that, what will happen? They will like not produce enough of the saliva or tears, and what was normally producing, and this will be even like occurring in the disorders like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus erythematosus. Okay, so this is the reason why it is leading to the spasmodic action. Yes, lupus erythematosus, again it is an autoimmune inflammatory disease which is causing the scaly red patches on the skin and especially on the face, and sometimes it is affecting the connective tissue of the internal organs. And you know that systemic lupus erythematosus, it is a chronic autoimmune disorder which is producing the unusual antibodies. So normal antibodies which is producing, and they are fighting the bacterial invasion which is abnormal. But here what is happening, they are produced abnormally. So it may also fight with the normal cells. And again, what is the last one is called as carpal tunnel. So carpal tunnel syndrome, what is happening? A painful condition happening in the hands and fingers because compression of the major nerves is taking place, where it is passing over the carpal bones and through a passage of front or wrist, which is, and it may be causing the continuous repetitive movement, and it will cause pain in the extremities or something. If you want to go with the carpal Sjogren's syndrome in detail, cells. So in Sjogren's syndrome, the autoimmune disorder, which is typically occurring in women, and it's an autoimmune cell attacking the exocrine glands, and because of that, what will happen? The normal saliva secretion or lacrimal gland secretion, which is producing tears, so that will be somewhere stopped. Okay, so next is what happening. You can see this. This is the abnormal glands that has been enzymatic action. Tear glands are stopped. Nothing is working. No normal fluid secretions. Normally, this is what the cells of autoimmune system is this, and foreign pathogens who are invading, and these are the antigens that has been presenting the cells. And this is like what you can say dendrite cells, which is again affecting the normal cells, and it is invading the normal cells, and then it is destructing them. So the normal cells are getting distracted because of this. So this is what in the Sjogren's syndrome, you will study that T cells will get activated, and this will lead to increase in the cytokinins, and it will recruit more of the immune cells. So inflammations will be later on, it will affect the other normal cells also. So exact causes unknown, but still genetic factors or environmental factors can be leading to this. So it can be considered that really it's abnormal, but genetic factors will, because of the HLA genes, or it will have specific kind of genes which are responsible for this, and some of the environmental factors which are responsible for disrupting the salivary glands and lacrimal glands function for the secretions. Okay, they will block because abnormal cells are producing, so that will do what? They will. This is the arteries of disease like arteriosclerosis or atherosclerosis, which is again blocking the blood vessels to supply the patent supply of blood. Sometimes any kind of repetitive actions you are doing, and sometimes hand or foot injuries are also affecting. Exposure to certain chemicals like nicotine, which is again leading to vasoconstriction, vasospasm, some kind of medications, or sometimes smoking. Smoking is again having a nicotinic substance, which is again creating a vasospastic action. Okay, is this clear with you, everyone? Is everyone present? Next is pathophysiology. Yes. Pathophysiology, it will be one of the pathophysiology we are going to see initiating with the etiological factors. First is exposed to cold. If the person is exposing to the cold, the factors will trigger the action. So what will happen? It will initiatively affect the small arteries at the fingers and toes, and it will lead to vasospasm. Vaso means vessel, or spasm means it is the constriction of that particular vessels, and especially it is occurring in the small arteries or the branches of the major arteries. Okay, it will happen, and it will lead to what? Become pale, it will discolor because the blood flow is very low and oxygen supply is getting cut off, so it will turn to bluish color or cyanosis. Okay, so oxygen supply is leading by what? Blood flow. And if sometimes what happens in Raynaud's disorder, once it is initiatively occluded with the blood flow, but suddenly with the forceful action, it is getting an increased blood flow and high oxygen supply. This will again lead to what? If there is high supply of blood, it will warm up, the arteries will be dilated because the pressure has been developed in that, and there is excessive supply of blood. So what is happening initiatively? Due to the vasospasm, because of the etiological factor like cold, it is getting constricted and there is occlusion of the blood flow. But suddenly there is a relievance of that occlusion, and then suddenly the blood flow will exert a pressure and it will create more of supply. The flow will increase, and because of that it will warm up. And due to that, what will happen? The color changes will be from the paler to the bright red, because previously it was discoloration, and due to discoloration it became blue, and then affected with the oxygen lacking and demand was increased, so it became I'm sorry, I did wrong. That if the oxygen is cut off, then it will convert to bluish discoloration. And previously it was pale because blood supply was not there. Then again, due to sudden increase of blood supply, the color changed to bright red, and that will affect the area, and it will get warm, and it will get a throbbing pain. Throbbing means it is like pin pricking pain, or someone is hitting the particular part. Okay, what will be the clinical manifestations during vasospasm? It will get pale, white, blue discoloration of fingers, which I discussed, and then in the toes and fingers. Then numbness and painful extremities will be there because the blood supply has got cut off. Sensations will be lost. Person will have a tingling sensation. Blood flow back to the affected area will turn to red, and it will be a throbbing pain, and it will be having a tingling sensation or a burning sensation. So is this clear that what are the variations happening in various stages? Next is diagnostic test. What kind of diagnostic test we'll see? Cold simulation test. What we will do? What we can do in cold simulation, it's the name suggesting, by the simulation through the cold or some kind of very cold substance, we can freeze the fingers and we can just test. In diagnostic test, cold simulation test, we will dip our fingers in the cold icy water for 20 seconds, and after dipping the 20 seconds, we will check till 5 minutes if any discoloration or vasospastic. Then if it is not able to cope up with the return of blood, it can be because of Raynaud's syndrome. If it is nail fold capilloscopy, we will test and imagine the microcapillaries of the micro or the digits. Then in erythrosegmentation rate, it is calculating what? It is for the, if erythrosegmentation rates are high, that means inflammation is there in the body, so ESR will be raised. In C-reactive protein, again liver is producing the CRP in case if it is having an high infection. What kind of treatment we can see? We have to just avoid the triggering and aggravating factors like cold, stress. We have to just relieve those factors. We will protect the fingers and toes with the warm mittens, okay, like wearing of gloves or anything, or warm boots, especially the lower periphery foot is to be protected. Long acting calcium channel blocker to prevent the or reduce the vasospasm. So in that case, we will give the calcium channel blockers, which will act on the vessels who is leading to vasospasm, and it will relieve and it will keep them patent. In nitroglycerin or sympatholytic like reserpine or prazosin we will give. So it can again be a vasodilator, so vasospasm can be avoided. Like lastly, antiplatelet agent can be given because in case of infection or plaque deposition or any kind of deposition in the vessels, platelets are going to increase and again it will occlude. So we have to give the antiplatelet agents that will avoid the growth of the platelets. Surgical treatment, nerve surgery. We know that sympathectomy can be done, and this is the removal of that particular part, that sympathetic ganglia. You can see in case of even gangrene, we are amputating this toe. We are totally removing that toe. Because why? You can see over here, this part is also becoming necrosed and it is spreading. So if it is spread, the whole leg will be affected and you have to remove the whole leg. Better to remove than this only thumb. So this is the nerve surgery, but because of that, what will happen? This necrosed cells will suppress the nerves and it will be very painful, and that will improve rarely. So lastly, you have to go for amputation. Okay, so nerve surgery will be taken place, and otherwise it is not working, amputation can be done. If you are hearing the example many times in cold regions like in Ontario or something, the temperature is below -60 or -40 degrees. So in that case, sometimes even if you are exposed, your digits are exposed to cold water, tap water, your digits can shed off without feeling of pain or anything. That is again like because of sudden spasm and sudden cut off blood supply. Okay, complications are what? There will be complete loss of blood to the digits and will cause deformities of fingers, gangrene or ulcers. See, slowly gangrene formation and leading to ulceration, and then lastly, we have to amputate this. So even you can see the structural um, changes in the blood. Okay, this is what the things is. How will you manage is different thing, but whenever it is not being managed, the comprehensive treatment is not given, like wearing of gloves. In health education, we will try to reduce the triggering factors. So we will stop smoking. We will make the person exercise so blood supply can reach the distal extremities. We will control the stress. We will try to avoid caffeine that is leading to vasoconstriction, and taking care of feet and hands by glove wearing or any kind of shoes or that are protecting the extremities to get sudden cold. And dress warm outdoors, like whenever we are staying back in the cold region, we have to dress up the warm clothes. What will be the nursing care plan? We will First of all, any kind of peripheral vascular disease, you will see for the tissue perfusion. Remember that this is the first priority. We have to supply the blood to the lower extremities, but we have ineffective peripheral tissue perfusion related to lack of blood supply. So goal is towards increase the arterial blood supply to the extremities. Okay, what will the intervention? Definitely, you will try to increase the blood supply through the any kind of activities done by you, by exercising, by compression, by administration of medications like vasodilators or calcium channel blockers. We are monitoring the blood circulations. If any further complication is there, we will encourage the patient for exercising during sitting or during work. What you will evaluate, patient's extremities are warm to touch, improved in color, and no complaint of numbness if your treatment is effective. So always go for the comprehensive treatment. Second, anxiety related to the disease. Okay, goal is towards reduce the anxiety, because stress is again the other factor which is triggering the vasospastic actions. Your intervention will be, you will just observe the patient, you will find out that patient is anxious, so you will try to relieve that by giving the psychological support, reinforce the doctor's explanation, and non-medical term you can use, because patient may be lay person and they are not understanding the medical terminologies like us. You will provide the moral support and encourage with the diversional therapies. So mind will be diverted. If you are going under examination, you are in stress. So we will divert you through taking you out. I will take you for the ice cream, and then you will be okay, relax. Then after you can get freshen up and you can study well. So you can give the diversional therapies. What you will evaluate? Definitely anxiety level will be decreased. Okay, so you have to work on the triggering factors. So this is what in the Raynaud's disorder, it is a vasospastic disorder, and due to vasospasm, the blood supply can be stopped. So this is